Boyfriend didn't disclose a 6-month-long friendship with a girl he ditched me for at a rave. He told her personal info about our relationship. Should I run? About 6 months ago, I invited my boyfriend to a rave so he could meet my group of friends, about 10 people. These are friends I do an active hobby with about once a week and have known for almost 2 years. At the time, my boyfriend and I had just become exclusive and had only been dating 3 to 4 months. One of my friends, Jill, invited her friend Jane to join us. After I introduced my boyfriend to some of my friends, he decided to spend most of his time dancing with Jane and her friend John. I was getting ticked off because I was excited to introduce my friends to my new boyfriend, but he seemed more interested in dancing with Jane. I tried several times to introduce him to the rest of the group and asked him to come dance with me, but he was feeling the vibe more with Jane and John. I felt really uncomfortable and needed to step away. I told him I needed air and was going to go get water with Jill. He agreed to wait with my friends in the crowd until we got back. After getting some water and venting to Jill, we went back into the crowd and found our friends. However, my boyfriend had left the group with Jane, John, and one additional friend, to go see the other stage. Long story short, I spent the second half of the rave without my boyfriend. We played phone tag the whole time and didn't find each other until it was over. When my boyfriend and I got home, we argued for hours about the whole thing. He told me that Jane kept giving him mushroom chocolates, so he was in a completely different headspace than me and my friends who rolled. He apologized for not spending more time with my friends and leaving them to explore with Jane and others. I chalked it up to me being too sensitive and forgave him. Over the next 6 months, he did connect more with my friends of 2 years. This weekend, my boyfriend and I attended a party that Jane was also attending. I hadn't seen her since the rave 6 months ago. I was completely shocked to learn that Jane and my boyfriend are good homies, her words, and had texted a lot. She revealed that she knew intimate details about our relationship problems and also told me that the relationship is toxic and I need to break up with him. I feel pretty shitty about the situation. My boyfriend is claiming that he didn't feel the need to tell me about the friendship, but feels awful for the way I found out and is ticked off at Jane for commenting on our relationship. What should I do? My boyfriend didn't disclose a 6-month-long friendship with a girl he ditched me for at a rave. This led to a heated argument when we got home. He apologized and I forgave him. This weekend, I learned my boyfriend has been texting the girl and they have been discussing our relationship problems. She advised me to break up with him. Should I break it off? Comment. This smells foul. Your BF ditched you to hang out with her that night. I don't buy the I was in a different headspace stuff. Sure, you might get separated at a rave for an hour, been there, but the entire night? Nah, you always make an effort to find who you got lost from. On top of it, he kept their friendship a secret for 6 months. And would have been a secret still if you didn't bump into Jane. So in other words, as far as he's concerned, everything would have been fine if Jane had just kept her mouth shut so he could keep complaining about you in secret. Thank her for the advice, regardless of what her intentions may have been in providing it, and walk away so you can find someone who doesn't go out of his way to be shady about maintaining a connection you already had misgivings about. If I'm reading this correctly, you guys have been together less than a year and have already broken up once. On top of that, he has kept Jane as a secret confidant for at least half of it. He sounds like a lying 34-year-old child. You can do better. Next story 2. I am worried to tell my boyfriend that I got a full-time position at work. How do I tell him? Forgive me that I don't have the best memory, but if there are any comments I do remember and can answer, I will answer only those. Putting that here because I expect a lot of people to ask for more info about things I might have not mentioned much about in my post. My boyfriend and I are in an LDR and plan to move in together at some point. I recently graduated college and have a lot of debt to pay back, so I work a summer job where I get paid a little more than $500 bi-weekly. I'm not sure how good that is though, since I can't compare it to basic needs BC. I don't have to pay rent or groceries, but for a seasonal job that I would have in between years at college, it was really good. Yesterday, I was pulled aside and told that because I get paid under a different contract that extends to next summer, I currently have a more full-time position there. My mother called it a permanent job, but if it's only for a year, I don't see it that way. I was told that hours and pay would be decided with us soon. I'm very excited. It's a place that I absolutely love working at, and it feels like a big family since I've known them since I was in 8th grade. I worked with them when I was in high school, and was given a seasonal job for now 3 years. I'm excited for the position because more pay equals more debt paid off per month, and it also equals more money in general, which makes it more possible to make a move and look for even a cheap apartment. What worries me about telling my boyfriend is our plans to live together and get our house there built. Our plan is for me to move into where he currently lives, have a house built, and then we move into that house. During that time, I said I would see if there was any way I could do any remote work. However, there is none, and with the type of place I work at, it wouldn't be possible. I already found a place like my current job where my boyfriend lives too, so I know if I get in there then moving is no problem. I want to pay off a good amount of loans and debt before I do that, though, and mention this to him. He is very serious about life plans, and if they change, it stresses him out. I worry that if I tell him it's a full-time position, he'll get upset instead of excited for me. I don't know how to reveal it in a way that doesn't upset him, because I don't want our plans to change. I still want to apply for that job, move in with him, work to pay off more loans and debt, and be with him through it all, but I want to work more before I do all of that. I want to make sure I'm financially ready for a move and a house, but if I can't move and continue work remotely, or if I don't get that job near him, then what do I do? We've discussed that before, but I forget what we came to an agreement with. But how do I tell him about my new position so it won't make him upset? Comment. You're 21. You need to be looking out for yourself, not getting into more debt with your BF buying a house. But also, you can get a real job there without your mommy's help. The whole thing is just bizarre to me. Why can't you organize your own work and decisions? Why is it your mom vs boyfriend? So is he working full-time? Because to me you have the right idea, get your debts paid off first before moving, unless it's a decent full-time job you have to move for. Is there any reason he couldn't move to you and find work? Why does it have to be you that moves? It might upset him, and there is nothing you can do about that. You are both so young and your plans need to be flexible, but life changes all the time. Your plans for the future together are just daydreams at the moment, and the financial side of things will be the most important factor in any future you have together. Just be honest with, he needs to learn to deal with the reality of the situation. Don't be pressured into doing anything that isn't right for you. I'll answer in order. He works more of a freelance kind of thing. His own hours, his own stuff. He hasn't been getting any clients, and he cannot yet afford mental health services to improve his capacity to interact with people, which is the part of what he does that gets him paid. His parents are old and he wants to be around to take care of them when they can no longer take care of themselves. They also own a large plot of land, so even building a home on that plot would be cheaper than building anywhere else. The housing market where I live is crazy expensive compared to his state too. I also don't particularly like my town other than for my friends and job and family, and I always loved the idea of living in a different state, so it's okay with me, and I actually hoped I could be the one moving. Thank you so much for the end bit there, I couldn't agree more. Good luck with whatever you decide to do, but to me the freelance thing is something of a red flag, because basically he has no source of regular income, and until he does you cannot truly expect your plans to play out.